last night. Flags at half staff at Chicago Police Headquarters today. One of their own shot and killed in the line of duty, Officer Ella French, being remembered.
I am here as mayor to declare today an official day of mourning for our city.
Officer French served a little more than 3 years on the force. Pictures like this emerging online showing her smiling on the job. She worked on the community safety team, a group of officers fighting crime and specifically tasked with connecting with faith leaders and community groups.
So she was on the community safety team. Another one of these things that liberals have tried to do. You know, you got the violence interrupters, you got all the programs, you got the anti-violence activists. She was on the community safety team, working with faith leaders and community organizers. That stuff doesn't work, man. Okay? It does not work. Okay? It just doesn't. Do I wish it worked? Yeah. I wish you could go in and talk hardened gangbangers who come from broken homes, rotten neighborhoods. Because you got to understand too, like, the gangbanger that puts the gun in your face, he ain't like had some great life. He done been abused as a child, bullied, definitely bullied. If you from the Blackistan, you've been bullied. The bullies get bullied. Everybody get bullied in Blackistan. Okay? A lot of people get abused. There have been attempts on his life. He's been to prison. The guy with the gun in your face has had whatever he's doing to you, he's had more done to him. Okay? So, it's kind of hard to go give that guy a hug and talk him, you know, and cajole him. And the only thing you can really do is when they commit crimes, lock them up, arrest them, prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law, rinse and repeat. And at the end of that, if you find that the majority of the people that you've arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law are from one certain race or demographic, then, you know, that's terrible. It sucks. But it is what it is. And you got to deal with that in another way. But one thing you cannot stop doing is prosecuting them and arresting them. And that's what they've done in Chicago.
Officer Ella French being remembered.
I am here as mayor to declare today an official day of mourning for our city.
Officer French served a little more than 3 years on the force. Pictures like this emerging online showing her smiling on the job. She worked on the community safety team, a group of officers fighting crime and specifically tasked with connecting with faith leaders and community groups. Today, as she is remembered, people praying for her partner, a male officer badly hurt, to pull through. New home surveillance footage obtained by CBS2 showing the chaos after both officers were shot. Ambulances and other police officers pulling up to 63rd and Bell. Chicago police saying it started when the two pulled over a vehicle with two men, one woman inside. The officers went to the passenger and driver's side doors. Sources tell CBS 2 the man who was in the back seat shot at French and her partner. The officers shot back, hurting that shooter. Police say the suspect's weapon was found on scene.
Much of what happened was caught on body cam. We do know that, and we reviewed the body cam. We have more reviews to conduct.
This morning, police took a third and final suspect, a woman, into custody. Superintendent Brown saying they are interviewing each person.
As soon as we get all offenders interviewed, and they all are cooperating and being interviewed, we'll have confirmation on the role each person played.
They're all cooperating. You got a dead cop on the scene. People just trying to get a number. They don't want life. They trying to get a number. Give me 50 years, 40 years. I tell you what you want to know. Just don't give me that L. So everyone's cooperating. The shooters putting some of the blame on the two people in the front seat. People in the front seat are definitely, ain't really much they got to say, but they cooperate. Everybody's cooperating. And this is what usually happens. There's always cooperation. This whole thing is like snitching is something that rarely happens. No, snitching is something that always happens. The only problem is when it's civilian snitch. These gangsters and thugs, they always snitch. And if you've been sub to this channel, you know that. 90% of the time. I'll even take 80. Because it is a lot of guys out here that just believe in the street code so much that they wouldn't snitch. But a dead cop on the scene, I gotta see those 20% of guys in this situation before, because everything's relative. You could be a hardcore street guy to go by the street code, but then if it's a dead cop outside of your car and another one wounded, and you sitting in the interrogation room and they got body cameras, and you arrested on the scene, nah, it ain't no. You cooperate. You ain't just sitting in there like, give me my lawyer, man. Nah, you talking. You in there blabbermouthing. You talking.
As soon as we get all offenders interviewed, and they all are cooperating and being interviewed, we'll have confirmation on the role each person played.
Brown says none of the suspects had extensive criminal backgrounds.
None of the suspects had extensive criminal backgrounds. Think about that. That's where we're at in America. You're applauded, you're praised, you're credited for not having an extensive criminal background. Okay? And when they say that, and you talking about Chicago, the Stand, Birmingham, Shreveport, St. Louis, Baton Rouge, D.C., Durham. You talking about Augusta, Atlanta, Jackson, Miami. You talking about these cities? And you talking about not an extensive criminal record? Let me tell you what that means, man. That means no murders. Okay? No attempted murders. But a lot of other stuff. Assault, batteries, breaking and entering. Domestic violence. DUIs. And it also means, as I told you, as the DC police chief told you, have you ever followed one of these cases through the system? Well, I have. my own, and those of some of the friends that I have that I even paid attention to. Or co-defendants of mine in different cases. So I followed cases through the system. And man, when I tell you, man, the amount of stuff that gets thrown out. The amount of stuff that gets thrown out. Like, you might have a guy who, you look at it, like as I say, his rap sheet as long as a CVS receipt. But that's not counting all the time, all the charges that have been thrown out, dismissed. Because they don't, listen. This is the big secret in America. We talk about, there's too many son people in prison. Too many son people in jail. The system is racist and it's picking on some people. Do you know how many son people would be in jail if they didn't throw out all these cases? No paper, dismiss a lot of these cases. Do you know? Okay? That's the big elephant in the room. That's the big secret in America. That it could be 25, 30% more son people in prison if the system prosecuted these cases. They throw a bunch of them out. When I say throw out, that means literally. Like, the guy goes in front of the judge and the judge says case dismissed and the guy walks out of court. And it's not like Law and Order where somebody busting through the doors, I have a surprise witness, and the lawyer's giving this impassioned speech and all. Nah, real court is boring. They call your docket, no paper. Boom. The bailiff opens the gate and you go out. Opens the little door, you out. You go pick up your property. Because they take all your stuff and put it in a plastic bag and keep it in a locker, and you get it when you get out. Your belt, all your stuff. Okay? All right? So when this guy says no, none of these three people who were pulled over and then one of them shot two cops, had an extensive record, take that with a grain of salt.
Stephen, thank you. Senator Dick Durbin paid tribute to Officer French from the floor of the United States Senate. He reminded his colleagues in Washington about the very real risk officers face.
Gun violence and gun death are daily threats in many neighborhoods. Neighborhoods where it's easier to find a gun than to find a job. Sadly, it's increasingly a mortal threat to the Chicago police officers who work in these neighborhoods.
Well, Dick Durbin, you just told a bold-faced lie right there, man. They giving out signing bonuses for jobs. Thousands and thousands of dollars signing bonuses. Because they can't find enough people to work. I've been talking about this extensively over the last few weeks. If you subscribe to the channel, you would know this. Dick, you need to pull up your YouTube account and subscribe to my channel, Dick Durbin. We've talked about this extensively. Now is the best time in, I don't know, I'm only 43, so I don't know. Since I've been on the workforce, which would be, 93, 92. Since I've been able to work, eligible, I guess. I haven't seen it like this. When I go into Target and the Walmart and the Home Depot, you would think those were black-owned businesses. It's nothing but black people working in there. Go in your local Home Depot if you live in a democratically run city. It looks like a black-owned business. Target, Walmart too. everywhere is hiring. And they're giving you thousands and thousands of dollars just to start. Because no one is working. Everybody's sitting home with their checks, with their unemployment. If you want a job, if you really want a job, and you've been struggling getting a job, I promise you, if you go into one of these, any place right here, any place, any store, as you're going about your business, and ask to speak to the manager, or ask are they hiring, somebody will probably tackle you and drag you in the back and make you fill out an application, put you in a uniform and throw you on the floor that day. They probably don't even do orientation no more. I remember when I started at Home Depot, it was like a 2-week orientation. You had to take all these online classes. You had to fill out all these sheets. No, it was 2 weeks, but from the time you got hired to the time you were on the floor. The application to Home Depot was like the SATs. 1,000 questions. Now, I'm telling you, man, you ain't got to worry about all that. Just say you want to work. They're going to hire you. They're going to put you on. I promise you. I promise you. Don't listen to this guy. He's lying. It's easier to find a job than it is a gun. You want to find a gun, you got to, make 2 or 3 phone calls. You want to find a job, you only got to make 1.
Gun violence and gun death are daily threats in many neighborhoods. Neighborhoods where it's easier to find a gun than to find a job. Sadly, it's increasingly a mortal threat to the Chicago police officers who work in these neighborhoods.
Senator Durbin also called for tougher gun laws to reduce easy access to weapons. The Chicago Police Memorial Fund also offered condolences and help for the families of both Officer French and the officer still fighting for his life. The fund promised to provide both financial and emotional support to help their families get through this difficult time.